Welcome to Eurovision Kiki. We're three Americans who have fallen in love with Eurovision. I'm Doug.
I'm Steven.
I'm Katie, and here on Eurovision Kiki, we're bringing you the best information about the Eurovision Song Contest.
We'll bring you the music, history, traditions,
And all the tea currently surrounding the world of Eurovision. And welcome to an exciting episode of the Eurovision Kiki podcast, where today and today only, / for the last couple of days, we have had an extra special guest in the studio and in the house for the entire weekend. Our third companion and the trio of the Eurovision Kiki podcast in the flesh.
I am in Colorado. It's great to be here in person.
Oh my gosh.
And not a state away.
And not many states away. Doug, hello.
Hello.
What a weekend it's been.
It has been an interesting time. We're going to make it
an episode to remember for listeners, for sure. I don't even know where to dive in and begin.
Some might call the upcoming audio that you will be hearing a dumpster fire.
Yes.
That could be one way to describe it.
Yeah.
I also call it gold.
Some people would call it gold. Now that we've sat down and edited it for our audience and listeners, it's salvageable.
Right.
Yeah.
So
where do we begin?
Our husbands are with us. So in the latter half of this episode, you will be able to hear all six of us get together with our husbands, Roger, Casey, and Ryan. And it was a fun evening.
It was, with a few bottles of wine, just as we do with here at the Eurovision Kiki studio, just having a Kiki. What we decided to do was just sit down with the husbands and get their thoughts and perspectives about all things Eurovision Song Contest.
And they had thoughts.
They had some thoughts.
They had some takes on things, and they talked in circles a little bit, but we love them anyway.
We sure do. So before we dive into that, we wanted to circle back with our listeners and just give them a little bit of perspective as to what happened this weekend as Doug, Katie, and I sat down just to sort of outline and plan what's in store for the rest of 2024 as we get ready to figure out what's happening with Eurovision Song Contest 2025. So we hope folks will just continue to stick around. We have a few more episodes that will be coming out before the end of the calendar year, which will include a few more segments of the Eurovision Rewind. We're going to be looking at a couple of past years of the Eurovision Song Contest. So we're going to be taking a deep dive into the archives and looking at 2021.
Yes, if you have not listened to 2021 yet, which hopefully everybody has, but maybe go back and refresh your memory on some of those songs, because we're going to talk about them.
We've got opinions, so we hope folks can catch songs on Apple, Spotify, catch clips of the song contests themselves on YouTube. So if you need help or assistance accessing them, do feel free to reach out to us. In other news, we've also got a couple of other reaction videos that we'll be hopefully publishing and posting on our YouTube channel, and maybe some short clips on Instagram as well, that our husbands were so gracious to collaborate with and participate in as part of our weekend of content creation and gathering. So we've got that to look forward to as well.
It's gonna be a good one.
It will be. And other than that, we're just sitting down and holding on steady until we hear of other countries that are ready to announce additional artists and confirmations of participation for 2025. So with that being said, should we talk a little bit about updates and things that are happening?
What's some of the news that we've got going on?
Some of the news and things that we have going on. Well, first and foremost, I wanted to take a quick second and just thank our good buddy Sean Myers, also known as World Vashon on Instagram and TikTok, for the recent shout out on his social media channels. if you are not aware, he is a good friend of ours. Recently jumped on a previous episode
Friend
of
of the
ours.
podcast.
Friend of the podcast.
And it's where I get all my news. Let's keep it real.
Samesies. And he's also recently launched his own podcast that is available on Spotify as well. So if you get a chance, definitely reach out and look for Not Another Eurovision Podcast. He's got a couple of episodes out right now. They're fantastic. We love his commentary. Sean, thank you again for the shout out as well. And when you're ready to come back and Kiki with us, let us know. We'd love to have you back. In other Eurovision news, the EBU has also recently announced that Martin Green will become the new director of Eurovision Song Contest. This was the newly created role that the EBU created after everything that went down during the 2024 Eurovision Song Contest.
But do we truly know what this job does? Or is this just we created a job and we're giving it to someone and it has a fancy title? We don't know what you do.
But we are gonna make sure you do something.
I'm sure there's a job description somewhere, but
there was. I think one of the responsibilities was to foster and create a culture of inclusiveness and belonging and safety. But what does that mean?
That seems very generic, like other duties as assigned.
Yeah. So more to come on that. But we do know that this new role was also designed to oversee the work of the executive supervisor of the Eurovision Song Contest, which is Martin Ostradal, which I probably slaughtered that last name. And Martin Green's first contest will be for 2025.
So we basically just gave Martin a boss with another Martin.
Yes. And so he could also just be a glorified babysitter to be like, don't screw this up because now you're being watched very heavily.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
And then lastly, we have at least a large handful of confirmed countries that have given us the green light that they will participate. So we have at least 33 countries so far that are good to go.
They're good to go.
Yeah.
They're locked in. They said they're going to participate. We had 37 last year. So really, there's only a handful of countries we're still waiting on. And do you need your 5 moments of attention? Like, all right, Poland, we haven't heard from you. Do you need some attention?
What do you need from us? Like, besides an advancement to the grand final.
Oh.
We miss you, Luna.
But why are they waiting so long?
I don't know. Some people just like that last second before they're like, okay, fine, I'm in.
Like just kidding. I was going to be in the whole time.
Yeah, I'm here. Just, I missed the memo, or I'm waiting till the very last minute to check the yes box.
Guys, pay attention to me. That's what this is. That's fine.
It's okay. So, well, Doug, I hate when our weekends go by so fast, but I have.
It was amazing being here and being able to kiki with the husbands. God bless any listeners who have made it this far.
Exactly.
Buckle up.
Buckle
it's
up.
gonna be a ride.
It's messy, but in the best way possible. We hope that you enjoy all of the banter that the six of us have provided with you or will provide you on this episode. And as I mentioned earlier, stick around. We've got great stuff coming up the rest of this year. And in the meantime, you know where to find us on the social medias. You know the sign off towards the tail end of our episode. It's a special one this time around, and we will catch you all later on next week.
We present the husband.
The husbands.
Thank you for joining us for another Eurovision Kiki. This is literally everybody, and we're all in the same city.
Amazing.
Welcome, Doug, to Colorado.
Yes.
So maybe we should do a little bit of a roll call. So all of the husbands are joining us today. So as you know, I'm Doug. This is my partner, Ryan.
Hello.
I'm Katie, and this is my husband, Casey.
Hi.
I'm Steven, and this is Roger.
Hello.
And Roger.
Affectionate.
Hola.
Hey, Roger, who gets talked about incessantly.
I've heard the episodes. I know what they're saying about me. It's fine.
It's fine because we love you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It must be nice being a podcast celebrity. How do you
Right?
feel? How do you
Right?
feel
It's
about
fine. You know,
Yeah.
I love being talked about. At least I'm listening.
it? Happy early birthday.
Yeah, someone's listening.
I appreciate all of the partners who may or may not listen.
I'm on season 2. Hey, man.
Thank you. Welcome.
He made it to season 2, so thank you.
I've
Proud of you.
listened to a few of them. Here's my thing.
Oh, okay. Tell us your thing.
Here's my thing.
Story time.
I was waiting for this episode.
This is the one.
This is the one that I was like, I can't wait to be the heterosepondent. I've been looking forward to it. I have been looking forward to it.
He's been waiting to
The heterosepondent with the gayest mustache.
Because I get in passing, she'll like, hey, let's listen to this song or whatever. But I am excited to hear. You're gonna get like literal reactions of these songs. I haven't heard any of the stuff basically from this year.
because from 2020.
Well,
because nothing
whatever.
in 2025 has happened yet.
Oh,
We're going to show you all the
nothing.
2025 songs.
You're a great heterosepondent.
yes.
Well, that was quick.
Yeah.
2025's over.
And we're done.
Yeah.
He's
I don't
doing
think-
his best
I
out
don't
here.
think this is a react.
Aw.
video.
Don't tell him that, because then he might actually be less.
Well,
He
now
might
you can
leave.
react. You can react to that news.
Yeah.
Your dreams have been shattered. How do you feel?
But you're still on the podcast.
So what I'm hoping
Jesus.
So one of the first things I was hoping we could do is just talk about, when did your Stockholm syndrome set in, and that you were forced to listen to Eurovision and participate.
Episode 1, season 1.
But
Not
you
of
had
the
already gone to Eurovision before that came out.
When did you get
yes.
sucked into the Eurovision
Of the Eurovision world.
Let's start with Casey.
I know. You know exactly when it is. You all know exactly when it is. When I heard Australia 2020, was it 3? They got
Voyager.
robbed. They got robbed. I'm sorry.
Promise
It was
by
it was
What was
Voyager.
it about them?
the song was better than everybody else. So this is maybe the thing that
The heterospawn network, ladies. and
this is.
gentlemen.
So let me break it down. What I don't understand so much about Eurovision is that there's like maybe politics and history that maybe make the voting go higher,
It's
right?
so clear he's not listening to the podcast right now.
Tell me that
Because
you're
we've
not
talked
listening
about
to
the
podcast.
politics and the
Don't
history.
listen to the podcast.
No, that's what I'm saying is like that's the part that I struggle with is like, all right, you're looking at it as the European Song Olympics, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Usually the best athletes win their events, as in the song is the best.
But
In
it
this
wasn't
case,
the best
Yes,
song.
it was. Yes, it was.
But what,
Yes,
like, was
Like
there
the winner,
something
as an
specific?
example, let's just say,
Was
as
it the musicality? Was it the lyrics?
I think
was it the staging?
it's catchy. It's catchy. It's
a
not.
bop.
It's not too. It is a bop. Let's be honest. It's catchy. It's not so deep where it's like we're not trying to get life lessons out of Eurovision songs. Like, come on, we're not.
That's fair.
And when you go and see Sweden win that year, you're like, you look like a sand person from Star Wars. Like, why are you winning this?
I mean, dude.
Not the
maybe.
sand person.
Wow.
I'm like, what is the
Not
outfit?
the
What is
Muad'Dib.
but at the same time, like, were they not did they not win because they were maybe 50th anniversary of ABBA winning in Sweden, right?
Correct.
That was this year.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
we're
so
going
that's
into
why
the
Sweden
thing.
Right?
2023 wins.
Yeah.
That's the conspiracy.
That's the
Conspiracy.
conspiracy.
Oh, yes.
So-
Ding,
Physics,
ding,
right?
buzzword.
Physics.
But
Physics.
so
We
to
don't-
For
answer your
the
question
algo.
to answer your question directly, I think it was the catchiest song. It was like you feel good, like whatever. It wasn't like I'm not like crying, like oh it's deep. Like it's Eurovision. Like we can just have a good time.
just
We don't
having-
need to learn
we're
life
just having
lessons.
fun.
Yeah.
I-
And I think it was all right. You got some opinions. We're gonna get to
Oh,
you.
I have a lot of them.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on a second. Which Australia song are we talking about?
Promise by
Promise.
Voyager. Everything
Promise
else-
it'll always be all right. Right. That's pretty good, right?
That was actually.
Yeah.
I don't remember that song.
Oh my.
You don't-
Exactly.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
All right, Roger. Where,
Let's
where do you
let's
fall?
let's have him
When did-
have some
when did-
Justice for Finland.
When did
Yeah.
your Stockholm
Absolutely.
syndrome
Oh my
begin?
god.
People's Champion.
My-
November 4th.
My personal Stockholm was Ukraine.
That was a good one.
22. They absolutely
Oh, wait,
was a political win, in my opinion.
This is
How-
not a political podcast, Roger.
However, they deserved it. In my opinion, it was also the best song
Mm.
that was there in 2022. Personal opinion only.
Was there another song from 22 that you also liked?
There was.
Do you remember what it was?
Was it maybe Serbia?
It was Serbia by
Serbia.
far. However,
Would you have
That's fair.
picked them over Ukraine?
no. I still picked you. Well, maybe. I don't know. I picked Ukraine today because I love Ukraine.
I think the postcards is like one of the coolest things about. I think about like the visuals of Eurovision that I don't know if you guys have talked about that.
The postcards in 24 were the best that have been in several years. I think.
Why is
It
that?
was an opportunity for the people in their host country to showcase themselves, their personality, their country.
Did they do something
So
unique? Like,
for
did they
for Casey's
Okay.
edification,
Yeah.
for the postcards in 2024, they let the artist like use their phone and
Oh,
record
nice.
themselves in their home country
Okay.
and do it like less produced, more just organic
Cool.
themselves.
Be real kind of vibes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
100%.
I like that. That's cool.
100%.
Saw the video of our dog Yukon. He did one, and it was perfect.
He's not a fan. He's not a fan of the podcast.
So
me?
Ryan, when did you
You
get
don't
sucked
listen.
into before?
Well, I had known about Eurovision since the '90s because of I'm old enough. Because I'm old enough to know ABBA and Celine Dion, and there was always some in the '90s. There was always at least one or two gay anthems that came out of Eurovision. I feel, and there was always a good remix.
What's your favorite?
Name.
From the '90s?
Just your favorite gay anthem. What is it?
Oh, my favorite gay
From
anthem?
Eurovision, specifically.
Oh, from Eurovision. Oh, that I don't know. I'd have to go back.
All right, you have a homework assignment.
That would be
I do.
Boys do
That would
cry.
Homework.
You did like Boys Do Cry.
I did like
Boys do cry.
But I think just living. I think it was being with Doug. It was suddenly all the music being played in the house was foreign. and
Literally, I'll say literally.
literally,
Yes.
and figuratively, I guess. But then it was just kind of like I started liking some of it, and then I'd be like, "Oh, what is this? What is this?" And then we were watching Eurovision on TV, and
Yes.
and then it was just like, "Okay, this is our life now."
Correct.
I basically told him
It was
this is what we're doing.
It was like a smooth entry. It wasn't jarring. It was a very
Was
smooth. It was over a period of time. It was like a boiling lobster.
What?
And then we went to Eurovision, and so it was full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truly was. What are you looking forward to seeing come out of 2025 Eurovision? Husbands.
I have learned now to appreciate discovering the songs, because it's always interesting to hear the songs for the first time and be like, eh. But then by the end of it,
How many times have you heard it? How many times have you heard it?
You hear the song so many, and then so many of them, you're like, I love the song. I love the song.
Yes, yes.
You know, and you just remember hearing it for the first time and going, you know, but then after a few months of listening, you're like, oh my God, this is the best song ever.
Yeah.
And, you know, especially since I think when I think I really got into listening to the music was, you know, Karja and then I wrote a song, and I think there were and Edgar Allan Poe, and it was all these such great songs that came out of Eurovision that year. And so now it's kind of interesting to be like, ooh, what's going to be my Karja song this season? Or what's going to be, you know, so that's what I look forward to, is discovering the songs.
Nice.
What about you?
Oh man. So my wife and family have a very unique way of describing how I have opinions on things, and staunch opinions. I still, like I said, I stand on the Australia 23, right?
Don't worry, I'll demonstrate for you all in
Yeah.
a second.
But like, so similar to what you said, like you hear them for the first time, you have some that you're like, oh, that's really, really, really good. And then you either see, I think the visuals is another thing of it that like, it's half the battle, right? So you have the fun song that I'm like, oh, I like Australia because it's catchy, it's like fun or whatever. It's like, then you see I think they came out in like a black car, and they had fireworks and stuff. Like it was electric on there. Windows 95, man. The denim egg, you could hate the song, but you're like, that's a denim egg and I'm in.
You're
right?
like, I'm sad.
Yeah. So Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
With the
Fireworks
shorts.
coming out of
his
shorts.
genitals,
Yes.
Yeah, you're like, all right.
Not
this
his
is great.
genitals.
Well, wait.
Not the genitals.
Not the genitals, but like,
Not always good choices.
I
but they're
think
choices.
that's so 50%. All right, well,
We said genitals.
it's got explicit on this podcast.
A
I got
running
nothing.
running joke on this show is rotating bottoms. Are we
Yeah,
kidding?
Yes, exactly.
Also that.
Anyway, shout out gun oil. But at the same time,
Everything he knows, he's learned from you
Yes,
guys.
That's true, actually. But at the same time, it's like you go and think. Sorry.
It's like the messiest episode ever.
Oh, I'm sorry.
God.
I'm sorry.
No, this is great.
All right, dear listener, this is what it's like when we hang out.
This is why we live in 3 different locations.
Right.
So
That's why we get together once
yes,
a year.
yeah. But I think, all right, you combine the songs, like how good you think it is or whatever, but then you're like, that's a denim egg. Like, oh my God, that's amazing. So you combine the visuals, you combine the audio, and I think just seeing that and like seeing what their thoughts are. Like the song could be good, but if the presentation's not good, you're like,
Can you tell he only watched one performance from 2024?
No, he watched the whole
was
thing.
that not a good example?
No, I think
It was a beautiful example, and it was the example.
Was it not a good
It's
example?
the example.
All right,
It is
thank
a
you.
good
So,
example, but I'm saying
What,
he's-
what other artists from 2024 had such a striking visual?
Isaac. Well, no, it's more about it. There's more than just Isaac. Let's be honest. So let's go back to 2022. Serbia probably should have won. However, I'm very happy with Ukraine
How did we get back
How
to
did we get
20?
back
How did we
there?
get back to 2022?
because I'm me.
Are you bringing?
It's my birthday weekend and I brought them back. Okay? Thank you. So there's that. But Isaac, I think it was just I loved Isaac's performance. Like being in the arena, watching the performance, I think that he had the best performance visually.
What specifically about that?
Oh, I mean, come on, the pyrotechnics. He was very controlled. He was very his vocals were very well done. I think the song was fantastic. Was it my favorite? I love you, Isaac. You're very handsome. No.
What was your
What was my favorite last year? My favorite song last year. Drum roll, please.
Oh my God, girl.
Was by far I loved Ukraine.
Really?
I
Yeah.
loved the song. I
Yeah.
loved the 2 ladies.
Korean Teresa, yeah.
I thought it was fantastic.
Shout out to the ones-
Now, with that said, I also
let's shout out for that.
very much close to my heart was not many people liked it. Dawn's. I loved that song. Besides, Ryan and I agreed.
Because Ryan's here. Because that's
No,
Ryan's song?
I mean, Ryan's one of my besties, but Dawn's was a fantastic song. I didn't think it'd get the credit it deserved. Period.
I think the song was great. For me, Dawn's performance was lacking, but that's my opinion on that. And I've said it again.
I would not disagree with that statement, but I thought the song was
The song as an audio was by far your favorite.
yes. I thought
Did
he had
the-
an amazing voice, and I thought the song fit his voice
Did
very
the
well.
staging help or hurt?
I don't think it hurt. I wouldn't say that it hurt it flat out. I just think you could have done more and you would have benefited.
Roger.
I agree.
I'll say it. It hurt. Dawn's move around every once in a while, do a little flashy dance. It would have been better.
He suffered the Moldova fate from last year. The just standing in one spot. There's a way to be solo on the stage and rock it. Nemo. There's a way to be solo on the stage and be boring.
100%.
I would say that if you're going to stand and showcase your voice, don't underestimate the power of backup dancers.
Agreed.
Lucktel was also a fantastic song. I think that he needed. Luke Tell. He should have moved around a little more, done a little more flashy. The shoulder shrug was a little boring. He could have done more.
I loved Lithuania. I loved him. All right. Next.
Other
Okay.
standout songs that you remember since you started listening to Eurovision. We know it's relatively recent for all of us. So any other standouts?
I was like the Banana Wolf song is always my favorite. The
Norway.
Norway.
That's a good one. It's like weird because I wouldn't say it was my favorite, but I grew to love it because my wife was obsessed with it. Is Queen
Stockholm Syndrome.
Okay, literally. All right. Queen of the Kings is
Norway.
It's a Norway song. And I think, like, again, the thing that I was talking about before, it's not just the song, it's like the perform. When she's up there, she is the Queen of the Kings. Like, you can tell she is commanding that stage, right? Like, she's up there with like her fists out there, like, you are the queen of the, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's her attitude the whole time. It's not just the song. Like, she's performing the shit out of that song. It was like, I run all of you. It's awesome. So I think I like
You're
that
buying
one.
what she's selling.
Yeah, and it was like, it wasn't really like my favorite at first, but then she was obsessed with that song. It's like I heard it a lot, and I was like, it's a good song.
Do you refer to Katie as the
King?
Queen of the Kings?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you do.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
The correct answer is
Yes.
I'm sorry, we were looking for yes.
Yes. Correct. Yes.
So, knowing now that your spouses have launched a podcast and have mediocre credibility on the social medias,
Hey man,
how
I'm just saying.
we're making strides. We are making strides. What will you as spouses continue to do to help support your spouses on our Eurovision Kiki journeys? Roger first.
Well, I'll continue to listen to it in the car absolutely every time we go anywhere. That's the playlist. It's always on the television. No, like, I'm all in for Switzerland, so I don't think you have to worry about going to Switzerland.
Well, we do money. You know, we have to have money. We have to have money to go.
Anyway, no, I think I will continue to support you in any way necessary.
Not just us.
Everyone, yes, everyone.
That's how you're going to support your
Well,
spouses.
you allowed us into your home to, speak to this this wonderful topic that we've all grown to love. It's going great, so thank you for that.
Episode's going well,
but
So how are you going to support?
I don't know. I don't have a off the top of the dome. I don't know. That's
will
a
you
really
support
good.
by picking a song every year that you will?
Oh, I will stand. I will
It
stand on
cannot
one
be
song.
Australia.
No, and I think I heard I think you showed me Australia's from last year, or
From 24.
yeah, for 24. And I was like,
The one.
nah, it wasn't. I was like, it wasn't. It
Your
wasn't
favorite?
it. Yeah, it wasn't it.
It was so much better than the year before.
So I will support this podcast by not being a yes man and being like, it's great. I think this podcast and this kind of so of the podcasts that I listen to, let's think about this. Of the podcasts that I listen to, there's a lot of yes people. Like, oh yeah, I agree with that. It's a good idea.
Okay.
There is literally so much disagreement that needs to happen on a Eurovision podcast.
Here's the thing, Casey.
Okay.
You listen to a lot of very straight podcasts, and it's easy for straight men to agree with each other. When you dive into the ladies and the gays, you get a lot more contentious, and it's great. It's great here.
Well,
I love you.
thank you. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
He listens to, I think,
Pretty much
two
exclusively
Cleveland Cavaliers
Broncos
podcasts and two
Cavaliers
Broncos
podcasts. That's
podcasts.
In fairness, I didn't listen to podcasts until like 2 or 3 years ago at all. I was just like, I can't listen to stuff and music's it. But we're breaking in. We're chilling. So
Doug is about to explode over there.
good.
All right. Ryan, how are you going to support?
That's a tough one to follow.
Hey,
I think I mean I think it's just become such a normal part of Doug and I's life now that it's just we go with mine is football season and Doug deals with me during football season and I support Doug during Eurovision season.
Congratulations. I'm insufferable in both.
My wife. All right.
Well, I think that's going to do it here on this episode of the Eurovision Kiki podcast. This has been great. Be sure to like and follow us and subscribe to all of our social media channels. You can like and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify at Eurovision Kiki. If you've got questions, please feel free to email them at eurovisionkiki@gmail.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you all at our next Kiki.
Peace.